Good morning, everybody. Today I have a lot of projects I need to get done in the kitchen, so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so to start, I have lots to do today. I need to get all these onions I've had for a couple weeks into my reusable bags for the freezer. So we're going to use my new chopper here, make it faster. I have all of this garlic. One sec here. All of this garlic that I need to preserve. We're going to blend this up in the food processor, and then I'm going to freeze it in pucks, like little round scoops. I actually got this idea from Becky from Acre Homestead, so I wanted to give her credit for that because it was a fabulous idea and it works great. I've tried it many times and I love it. So we're going to do that. I have some chicken in the fridge that I need to make some marinades for. I'm going to do the same marinades for both packages of chicken. I think I have enough for 2 meals. I made this marinade in a previous video and it was so delicious. So we're going to do the same one again. I need to make a salad for dinner. I have some dehydrated stuff that we need to jar up. I have lots to do today. So let's start with the onions. It's one of those days where I have random projects that need to be done and you just kind of gotta get to it. So if you hear the fan, it's very hot here today in Canada where I live, and my fan is on. I love these bag holders. They're very convenient, works great. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. So I made my life easier, and yesterday I helped peel all this garlic. Ryan helped me peel all this because it took me hours. I bought a few bags of garlic because my garlic didn't turn out at all this year. So I needed to think of a solution, so this is what I did. And then I'm just going to preserve this up. Hopefully it'll be, I don't think this will quite be enough because I use a lot of garlic, but it's a start. And I also cut all these onions, took all the peels off, that kind of thing. So yeah, let's start with the onions. I think this will be the easiest place to start. I have only used my chopper once so far, and so far I love it. I had discovered the last time I tried it that cutting these in half works best to get the right cut that I want. If I leave them whole, they don't quite dice them right. This is actually making this so much faster than dicing all these by hand. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I like to dice up onions and peppers and keep them in my reusable bags in my freezer. I do this for convenience, to make, when I'm cooking, to make things faster. Sometimes, I just don't want to dice an onion, to be honest. And having these pre-diced onions and pre-diced peppers is really, really convenient. When I was working at the bank, I used to have a bank job, it was so much faster. Freezer meals made my life so much easier, because I would get home probably by 5:30. I was so tired by then, and I honestly didn't want to cook most days, and then we would end up eating out, and it was just a nasty cycle. So I came up with the solution of freezer meals, that I was going to do some freezer meals, and it worked out great. And then from there I started doing prep work like this for the days that I did cook normal, and it saved me a lot of time. So if you're a working person, I would highly recommend doing, even if you just have a really busy life and don't have time, I would recommend freezer meals. I recommend having things a little more prepared for you so it's not so hard, not so difficult, not so time consuming. I know when I would try to get dinner done from scratch, I get home by 5:30, and some days I wouldn't have dinner done till 7:30, and normally our family eats no later than 6. So freezer meals helped a lot, and they're homemade, so I didn't feel guilty about it, but it was healthier than having to eat out every single day, which made things a lot more convenient. I'm loving this dicer. It's awesome. Look how much faster this is. So far, this is a good investment. This would have taken me probably half hour, 45 minutes to chop all these. Maybe even a little longer. I have completely run out of onions in my freezer, so this is something I really needed to get to. And these onions have been sitting here for a couple weeks, and it's been really hot, so I didn't want them to go bad. I am all for any little tricks that make your life easier. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Why didn't I do this sooner? This is going really fast. Way faster than I expected, actually. Let's empty that. I think we get one whole bag already. That's awesome. Okay. I'm going to bag this one up. I don't want to have it too full where it won't lay nice and flat. When they're in the freezer, I lay them, I just close them up. Let me show you here. And then I lay them nice and flat like this. And then once they're like half frozen, I'll come in and break them up like this and then let them finish freezing, and they turn out fine. They don't, not big huge clumps. Sometimes there's clumps, but not very often. Okay. Only got a few more left here, and then we'll move on to the garlic. I'm looking forward to having the garlic in my freezer to use. All the peels and the scraps from the onions, and actually not from the garlic, but the onions, and I have peppers that I've already done too. All went into a bag for chicken stock. I like to can my own chicken stock. It saves a lot of money, and it's healthier, and it tastes better. Wow, that took less than 10 minutes. Not even 10. That's awesome. Okay. Actually, before we do the garlic, how about we do the chicken marinades, since I already got the bag holders out. So let me package this up. Got about 1.5 bags out of that 10-pound bag. That's not bad. Okay, let me get the chicken and we'll start on the marinade. So to start, I went and picked, off camera here, I went and picked some parsley and some lemon thyme. That's the only thing we're going to do differently in this. Is it says regular thyme. I'm going to use lemon thyme. That's the only difference. I also put on a pot of water to boil for pasta, for the pasta salad that we still need to make. Trying to multitask here. So let's set up my bags. Actually, let's write on them first. It's easier to write on them when they're flat. I'm not even going to write a date on these. Normally I do, because I know these are going to get eaten quite quickly. I like making marinades that go in the freezer. They're very convenient, and while the chicken or the meat is thawing, it actually is marinating it at the same time. And I'm really, really bad for remembering to marinate meat in time. So to marinate it so that it has time to marinate. By time I usually remember, there's no time. So we are going to use chicken thighs. I used chicken thighs in the last recipe as well. It was one of the best marinades I've ever tried. So we're going to make this 2 of the exact same here. Everybody loved it. My kids loved it. My fiance loved it. I loved it. So we're going to do 2. I like to do meat marinades in actual Ziplocs. I don't know what it is, but something about the reusable bags, the meat in my reusable bag just kind of, I don't know, a cleanliness thing for me. So I can keep my hands clean, I'm going to use tongs here. Oop. Flop my bag over here. So I'm just splitting this package into 2 here. That's enough for 2 meals for my family. I chose boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You can use whatever you want. This works great with chicken though. So you could use chicken with skin on it. You could do drumsticks. You could do thighs, chicken breast. This would probably taste really good with all of it. So as long as it's chicken. Even a whole chicken. If you wanted to slow roast a whole chicken with this marinade, that would be really good too. Okay. I'm just going to put this off to the side. I like using tongs, then it doesn't dirty my hands. Okay. So we need some olive oil. I'm going to add a little bit less olive oil than last time, only because this says half a cup, so I'm only adding about 1/4. It did, when I put the marinade on the barbecue, it did flame up a bit, so I'm just going to cut the oil just a little bit. Okay, let's recycle that. And then we need lemon zest. I have 2 lemons here. It says 1.5 teaspoons, so I'm going to zest a lemon in each one of the bags here. I love this new lemon zester that I got. It's great. The flavor of this recipe is so delicious. I was highly surprised that it was so good. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be that good. I like when I surprise myself. It's great. Try not to get the white of the lemon. Try to only do the yellow. The white can be a little bitter. I mean, if you like the white, that's fine, but... Oh, I might need another lemon here. This doesn't look like quite enough here. I have quite a few in the fridge that need to be used, so this is good. Oh, dropped the lemon in there. Well, I was going to use it in iced tea. Now I'm not, because it dropped in the chicken. Okay, let me get a couple more lemons for the other bag. Let me wash these. Okay. I think that's good for that bag. Let's do this one. This is quite a fast marinade to make. Very simple, regular kind of ingredients, nothing too special. And it's delicious on the barbecue. Highly recommend using it on the barbecue. But if all you have is an oven, this will still taste great in the oven. Ooh. If you hear noise in the background, my daughter's getting her breakfast. She's actually taking out some of the pancakes we put in the freezer the other day. They're already, most of the freezer meals that we made in the breakfast freezer meal video are already gone. So don't be surprised if you see another one from me soon. Maybe in another month or so. Okay, I think that's good. Now let's move on to the next step. I stopped for a second to let my daughter heat up her pancakes. Okay, 2 teaspoons approximately of garlic. They have almost all of them eaten. I should have made more. Okay. I've been using this big jars of minced garlic because I don't have any garlic. And all my garlic didn't grow right. Okay, we need some salt and some pepper. A little bit more in this one. Some salt. I don't want to add too much salt because there is soy sauce in this recipe. Okay, how much soy sauce? About 3 tablespoons. We're just going to eyeball it. 1, 2, 3. This actually gives the marinade a really good flavor. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to eyeball this too. It's a marinade, it doesn't need to be exact. This, I think, helps sweeten the soy sauce. Let's do a little bit more. All the flavors in this marinade are really balanced. It's really yummy. Okay. Olive oil. Okay, all that's left is the parsley and the thyme. So, let me just chop it up. This is fresh herbs, clearly. So I'm not going to take the stems off. I think they're really nice and tender to begin with, and I don't think it'll much matter. So I'm going to cut this in half, each one here. The only difference in this marinade from the last time I made it was, like I said before, I'm using lemon thyme rather than regular thyme. I dehydrated some of my regular thyme, so I don't have any fresh really right now. It hasn't bounced back yet. So I do have lemon thyme though, so we're going to use that. I think it'll be fine, especially since there's lemon zest already in the recipe. I want to chop this up a little bit finer, just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take half and put it in each bag. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, and then we're just going to mix these up and freeze them. I have been going through quite a bit of my freezer meals lately, so I'm probably going to do another freezer meal video soon. I love making freezer meals. I usually try a few new recipes every time I make freezer meals. I have discovered that I know there's many different kinds out there, but I personally have discovered that I'm not a big fan of pasta freezer meals. I love lasagna freezer meals. Those are perfectly fine. I use fresh noodles for those. But I have tried pasta freezer meals many different ways now, and I have yet to find one that I like. I find the pasta gets dry. I'll even cook it a little less so that it doesn't get mushy, which I have perfected. But when it comes to there being enough sauce, I've doubled and tripled the sauce before, and the noodles will still soak it all up, and it ends up being really dry. Not enough sauce in the pasta, and I just don't like it. None of my family likes it either. So just so you know, probably the only pasta freezer meals I'll probably make in the future are probably lasagna, unless I can find one that doesn't do this. If I can find one that works great, I will definitely do it. But for now, I'm going to stick to making pasta fresh. I'm just trying to mix up all the ingredients so they marinate nice and evenly, especially the garlic. There we go. Okay. Just take all the air out. There we go. Okay, let's move on to the garlic. So, we're going to start with, I should explain. Let me see. As you can see, my food processor is a little bit frosted. That was from me grinding up eggshells in my food processor. It scratched the sides, and now it's like that permanently. Okay. So when Becky does this, she just pours in the garlic. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Oh, I see a peel on one. Let's take that off. Okay. And then she adds a little bit of olive oil. I got a new bottle here since we used the other one. So I'm going to try grinding these up first. Just a little bit. Okay, let's add some olive oil to it. We want it to stick together when we're scooping it, so that's why we're going to add some. I like to have a backup of everything so that when I'm cooking I don't have to worry about running out. I don't want to add too much because we don't want it to be too runny. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Okay. Okay, I think we need some more olive oil in here. We need quite a bit more, actually. Let's start with that, see if that's good. The smell, oh, the smell is so good. I just want to scrape down the sides a little bit so it blends nice. Let's mix one more time here. Oh yeah, it's starting to stick together now. That's better. I still think we need a little bit more olive oil. I'm a little surprised how much olive oil this is taking. Okay, I think this might be good. This might be perfect. Okay. I'm just going to set this here because we're going to need it again. And now we're going to scoop it out onto some trays here. Just got to get my scoop. Things are blowing around from the fan, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to fill my little scoop here. This is one of my muffin scoops. I'm going to do these on these little pizza pans because I needed enough room for these to fit in my freezer to freeze. So I might need to do a few of these. And I'm just going to freeze these in pucks, and then as I need them, like once they're frozen, I'll put them in like one of my reusable Ziplocs, and then when I need them, I'll just pull one out, throw it into the dinner. I think that'll work great. I'm trying to freeze these fairly close together so I can get quite a few on these trays here. This is a fabulous idea. I have done this 3 times now. And it works great. Thank you, Becky, for suggesting it to everybody. It was great. Fabulous idea. If you want to freeze these in smaller portions, you can do that. I use a lot of garlic in a lot of things that I cook. So this is like the perfect size for what I usually use. It's a matter of preference. This smells so good. I love the smell of garlic though. So when I do finally succeed in growing garlic, I think that I'm probably going to preserve it like this. I'll probably have some fresh and dried for like dehydrated for garlic powder. But I think the majority of it I'm probably going to freeze like this when I do finally successfully learn to grow garlic. It's a work in progress. This is making quite a few. I didn't expect to have it make this much. Okay, so there's the first one. I'm actually just going to go pop that right in the freezer. It is quite hot in here today, so I don't want it to melt all over the place. Not sure if it would melt, but just in case. Just going to scoop out the last ones here. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now let's make some more. Try to finish the rest of it here. Now I know that, oh, guess what I just did? I forgot to put the blade back in. Okay. I can't believe I forgot to put the blade back. There we go. Let's see if I can do this without getting them everywhere. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. like everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna smell like garlic after today. Garlic and onions. Okay, now let's add a whole bunch of this. Now that I know I need quite a bit of it. The fan is blowing my stuff everywhere. There. Need quite a bit more. Let's see if that's enough. I think we're already at a point where it's enough olive oil, which is good. I just want to make sure all of it's chopped evenly. Now we're done with this, I can take it right out. Oh, also, before we started to do the garlic, I drained the pasta that we need for the pasta salad. I did that off camera. I didn't want them to go mushy. Okay. I'm really excited to have these back in my freezer. They work fabulously. I also did this with fresh ginger. I usually buy fresh ginger in a jar, and it comes in quite a big jar, and sometimes it'll go bad before I can use it all. So I also froze them in pucks. I took half the jar and froze it, and that's been working out great too. I think this was a little bit more than the last batch. Try to fit one more in there. Okay, so there isn't enough for another tray here, but there's definitely a lot left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into one of my reusable containers here. Let's put it into this little one, and I will use it fresh. I don't like wasting. Okay, that's good. Get it off the edges here. These ones come with lids too. And there we go. So I'll pop this one into the freezer too, and then I'll clean up a little bit, and then we'll get started on preserving some of the dehydrated stuff that I have to do. I brought out some of my containers. So these are all stuff that I preserved from the garden. So we have, these are all different herbs. So I have some basil here. I do have to go out sometime this week and go get more, because there's more that's ready to be dehydrated. I would love to freeze dry my herbs, but I do not have a freeze dryer. So I make do with what I have, and so far the dehydrator has been working really well. This is some of the thyme that I dehydrated. Actually, I think for now I'm going to stick the thyme and parsley in a Ziploc, just because they're so small right now. And then I'll find a container or a jar to put them in. I have a very small amount of parsley in my garden, so I don't think I'm going to get a lot. I love these containers. I bought them from the Dollarama. They work great, as it won't open as I say that. There we go. They just have a very tight seal. This is some oregano that I dehydrated. I have quite a bit more to dehydrate, but this was a start. It smells good. I love growing my own food. I love growing my own spices. This is a passion of mine. I love it. Okay, put that tray over there. Ooh, oh, fan. Like that. I'm sure I'll get a lot more of this because there is a lot more. Okay, I am still working on my year's supply of dehydrated spinach. I have a huge jar here. I use it a lot. So it's one of the main things that I wanted to dehydrate this year. It works great in all meals. And I find when I buy spinach from the store, I don't use it fast enough. So I like it dehydrated like this, and it keeps its color pretty well too when it's dehydrated, which is surprising because it's dehydrated. When you dehydrate herbs, sometimes they can lose their color. But I do prefer it this way because I can use it whenever I need it. I don't have to worry about not having anything fresh, and I can just use a handful at a time if I need. And most of the dishes that I would be putting this in are cooked anyways, so that it rehydrates really well. Okay, this is not spinach. This is something else. This is catnip. I grew a whole bunch of catnip for my cat. He loves catnip. I mean, most cats do. So my plant was going crazy, so I dehydrated some of it. I'm just going to try and break it up really fine to try and get it all into this container here. To buy him catnip, it costs probably about $9 for a pouch this big where I live. So I figured, why not try growing some of it? Ooh, I'm getting this everywhere. I might put it into a blender or something later and put to grind it up a little more, or I might just grind it in my hands as I'm putting it in his dish. Just try to break it up a little bit here. It's actually breaking up quite easily. There we go, that's good enough for now. Okay, so I don't have any more fresh herbs to do just yet. I have to go to the garden still and do that. Probably this week I'll do something about that. So let's move on to making the salad for dinner. Okay, so I gathered everything to make it a little bit easier. Take my pasta. This is, I drained and rinsed it with cold water. I use these kind of noodles. You can use whatever kind you like. The pasta is nice and cool. One sec. So I'm going to grate a carrot into it. I'm going to do the rough grate just because I like the chunks of carrot. This is a tuna pasta salad. It's one of my favorites. It'll go really nicely with the grilled chicken I'm going to do tonight. It is very hot, so I wanted to make a barbecue meal today. Didn't want to have to turn the oven on. Okay, let's put that right in. And then I have some celery here. So I'm going to do celery. I like to dice it finely. This is like one of the only salads that I use celery in. You never know, maybe I'll come up with some new ones. Find new recipes I might like, but I like the taste of the celery with the tuna. It tastes very good together. This is just a very basic pasta salad that I'm making for dinner. Put all the celery in. I got some green onions that I took from the garden here and I rinsed them. Almost done with the kitchen projects for today. I think that's good. I'll save those for a different meal. I like to balance the vegetables when I put them in a salad. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, not too much of one thing. And then I have some cherry tomatoes here. Well, grape tomatoes technically. To me, they're pretty much the same thing. And I'm just going to dice these into just little bite-sized pieces. I'm going to sharpen my knife. Oh, that's better. Probably should have sharpened it before I started. I do need to buy new knives soon. I haven't had new knives in quite a few years. The last set Ryan bought me for Christmas. They were J. Henkel knives. I'd like to try something different. Something a little bit better quality. Even though J. Henkel's is pretty good quality. The salad looks really colorful so far. Okay, and then I'm going to put a handful of shredded cheese. I like to add a little bit of extra protein to my salad. Yeah, let's put 2 in there. And then let's add the tuna. I already drained it. This is just white flaked tuna that I'm using. You could use salmon too if you wanted, but I find tuna tastes best. You could even use 2 cans if you want, but I think 1 is good for me. Okay, let me rinse my hands. Okay, I realized I'm missing one other ingredient. Some mustard. In all my potato salad and pasta salad, I like to add just a little squirt of mustard. It gives it more flavor. And now we will mix this together with some mayo. Move this aside here. Get a big spoon. Oh, I almost forgot salt and pepper. You need salt and pepper in everything. I add quite a bit of pepper. I like things to be seasoned really well. Salt for the vegetables. Okay. So I have some left in this squirty container. We'll use the rest of this first. I'm using Miracle Whip. You can use Hellmann's if you like. I personally am not a huge fan of Hellmann's. I find it to be very bland, but it's up to you and your preference. I'm going to add one more scoop. Okay, should be good. I like to make my salads in the morning, if possible. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I just don't have time. To let the seasonings marinate and the vegetables and all the sauces. And look at that, looks delicious. I'm going to taste it in a second, make sure the seasonings are good. I actually haven't made this pasta salad in a few years. It's been a while. Okay, let me get a fork and we'll taste it. Or a spoon. Let's do a spoon. Get a little bit of everything. Tomato in there too. Okay. It's not bad. It needs something. I think I know what it needs. One sec. The tanginess from the Miracle Whip, I think I need to balance it out with just a tiny bit of sugar. See if that helps. Okay, let's try one more time. Yep, that's what needed. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Delicious. So I hope you enjoyed, coming along with me doing some of my kitchen projects. And I appreciate everybody watching. I am so happy that I get to do what I love. And I thank everybody for allowing me to do that. So this is where I'm going to end the video for today. And I'll see you next time. Bye.